So as the production could do nothing about inquisitive crowds watching them while they were filming in Rome, they actually set up a phony second unit a little further away, hired several goyles in bikinis and several older women dressed as nuns, and pretended to be filming takes for the film while the main unit got on with the business largely undisturbed.
I want to see the Bikini and Nuns movie.
Right?
I want to know how much extra money they spent filming a fake second unit.
So funny.
I'm intrigued by the Bikinis and Nuns.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
And CultPop. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next segment of the show.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to join us in this third installment of our ongoing series, Missions Probable, wherein we dig into and review each Mission Impossible film in preparation for the 8th and maybe last film coming this summer. I don't know. Called Mission Impossible: The Last Reckoning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bad name.
So tonight we're going to talk about Mission: Impossible 3. There's been some arguments online as to how this is officially titled.
Arguments online.
By arguments online, I mean there's just like multiple ways that it's titled.
Oh, I see.
And the arguments are in my head as to what I want to call it.
I gotcha.
So
valid.
it's Mission: Impossible numeral 3. There's Mission: Impossible dash Roman numeral 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's M:I: Roman numeral 3.
M:I:?
Yeah, the original poster has 2 colons.
2 colons?
Yeah.
That's impossible.
Is it?
Huh.
The English language is a bit of a bitch, and she can do whatever she wants.
A salty mistress.
She's a salty mistress. So we're going to talk about Mission Impossible 3. The way that we're going to run this conversation is I'm going to give you the credentials, everywhere that's in it, and then whatnot. We're going to talk about the production. We're going to talk about the critical response, the box office response, the music, all that jazz. And then we're going to go around the room and we're going to talk about how much, if and or we even liked it.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
I know, right? So Mission Impossible 3 came out in 2006. That is an incorrect number I have on
I
there.
was going to say, what?
But the Rotten Tomato scores is correct, and that's 71%, which is pretty
what
solid.
were the previous...
I have them here. I'm so excited. I wrote them down. I was so excited. I was like, this is going to come up.
Can you do this too?
Yes.
You know
this
what?
is
Wait.
Alice's excited arms.
I
Alice's
did-
angry arms.
I actually did something that I'm very excited about also. And when it comes up, I'll do the arms.
Okay.
But go on.
So the first Mission Impossible movie had 65%. Critic score, 71% audience score. Second one had 56 critic score and 42 audience score.
That tracks.
This one has 71% critic score, and then audience score is, hold on, 69%.
Oh my God,
Nice.
it's lower?
It's lower.
Holy shit. That is a delta I
The
did not
only one
expect.
so far that has been higher audience score is the original. So far.
Kevin is already in the chat saying 3 is peak. Here for it. Look, Kevin, I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with you because
Until later.
this is a show about order and structure.
He loved it.
Unless I get excited.
He loved it so much.
Yeah. Anyway, Mission Impossible 3, 71% Rotten Tomato scores, directed by J.J. Abrams, his first feature directorial debut. Written by Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orci, and J.J. Abrams, starring Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Michelle Monaghan, Lawrence Fishburne, Simon Pegg, Maggie Q, Kerry Russell, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Billy Crudup, as well as a bunch of others. Retired from active duty and training recruits for the Mission Impossible Mission Force, IMF for short, Agent Ethan Hunt faces the toughest foe of his career, Owen Davian, an international broker of arms and information who is as cunning as he is ruthless. Davian emerges to threaten Hunt and all he holds dear, including the woman Hunt loves. So, last we spoke. Mission Impossible 2, also known as M:I:2, came out in 2000. Wildly successful. It just was. Whether that's aged well or not is another conversation. The movie made money hand over fist, and everyone loved it. So they went into production for the next Mission Impossible installment almost immediately. Development officially began in 2002, about a year and a half after the second one came out. Despite being a cringe watch now, the second movie was very successful, and everyone was eager to start. So the first filmmaker that they had attached in 2002 to this movie, any guesses? Somebody very popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you're like, what the fuck? Really?
Quentin Tarantino.
Close. Any idea?
No.
Dylan, any ideas? 5,
No.
4. David Fincher.
Oh, I was going to say the other guy.
So close to saying that.
Oh
David
my God,
Fincher.
Dylan, you gotta say it.
David
know.
Fincher was
I couldn't
attached
remember his
for
name.
about 2 years on this bitch.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, actually less than 2 years. He left the project ultimately. So it was started production officially in 2002 for a hopeful 2004 release of the summer. David Fincher left the project due to creative differences and ultimately went and made Zodiac, and we're all better for it. Yeah. He dropped out in favor of that. And yeah, he was very magnanimously just was like creative differences. They wanted a different thing that I wanted to make. And
Has
that's that.
Fincher ever made like an action movie? Like a popcorn movie?
His version of it? Yeah.
What? Which
The
one?
Killer. That was really good.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. It really is an incredibly linear, just action movie in his style.
I can't remember what The Killer is. I don't
It's-
even know what
it was only on Netflix.
Fassbender. It's the remake of who did the original The Killer?
Was it a remake? I thought it was an adaptation of a comic.
I think it was a remake.
Is it a remake?
Yeah, of like
He's a Michael Fassbender is a really, really good assassin that something gets botched and they piss him off. So
and
he
that's
goes after.
Fincher.
Yeah.
Shit, I got something to watch.
It was
Awesome.
it was a very
I'm in.
solid movie.
Okay, go. Sorry.
After Fincher left, they brought on Joe Carnahan. I don't know if you guys do
Love
know
that
Joe
guy.
Carnahan is.
Nope, no idea.
Joe Carnahan was attached to direct. He is responsible for A-Team, which is
Yeah.
it's a solid movie.
It's cute.
Smoking Aces, Narc, and The Gray with Liam Neeson.
Hold on. The Killer, you mean the remake of the John Woo Killer?
That's not a remake of that.
Oh.
Did you see The Killer? The original?
I didn't see the original. I thought.
Oh, see it.
Yeah, I've
See
heard
it,
that
see
it's
it.
great though.
It's not it's just the same title.
The John Woo is really great.
A very gritty kind of director. Everything's a little muddy and gritty. I think they were going with that style. He developed the script for this movie for 15 months. At the time, it was set to feature Kenneth Branagh as a guy based a little bit on Timothy McVeigh. So we're thinking like a bomber scenario. Attached to star also were Carrie-Anne Moss and Scarlett Johansson as other members of the IMF team. However, after a creative dispute, Carnahan left in 2004 and his story was scrapped. Now, Cruise, being Tom Cruise, started watching a TV show, binged 2 seasons of it, and reached out to the creator. And that show was Alias.
Of course.
And he reached out to J.J. Abrams, who's never directed a movie, just a lot of television. And he was adamant. He was like, I want you to work on Mission Impossible 3 with me.
See, I think I don't like things in a chill way. And then Tom Cruise watches a show and is like, I'm going to make this guy make a movie that I'm going to star in.
Yeah, yeah.
Tom, you sometimes put your arms up.
Tom
Cruise lives with his arms up. He's just like,
while he's jumping on Oprah couches.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. He literally couldn't even like Katie Holmes in a chill way.
He does nothing chill. Yeah.
Like,
You know what? She's Katie Holmes, though.
it's
Yeah.
true.
Neither could
Literally-
Macy, neither could
literally couldn't
Dawson,
contain himself
neither
on
could
Oprah.
Jen.
I also used to not
Not
like
like
her
Katie Holmes. Did you jump on Oprah's couch about it?
She wouldn't let me.
Oh.
I jumped
You
on.
tried though.
Yeah,
I
The
jumped
effort
on
was
the
there.
Security
couch
got
about
me ahead
him
of time.
jumping.
Oprah,
Yeah.
please.
Oprah security jumped on me.
But she did give me a car, so that's cool.
Oh man.
So along with Alias writers Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi, they wrote a new version of MI3. They started from scratch. They had the time to do so because Cruise was so adamant about bringing in Abrams, and Abrams was like, I am show running 2 TV shows right now. I can't even start for another year.
What was the second one?
Lost.
Oh.
So he was working
Forgot he
on
was-
Alias and Lost, and he was like, Tom, I'd love to do this. I'm assuming this is
Tom.
the conversation.
Tommy,
Bobby,
baby.
Cruisy boy.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise
Thank
is
you.
just jumping on his couch.
Thank you. Hey,
he's like, hey,
It's hard for me to talk to you while you're jumping. Just put the coconut cake down. We're going to talk.
okay, okay.
I won't be available for a year.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise hires him anyway.
They high five, he leaves.
Yeah. So the writers have a year to like plan production and rewrite the script and go to town. Cruise agreed to postpone production for about a year or so. Because of this delay, actors who were previously in talks had to drop out. So that's why no Kenneth Branagh, no Carrie-Anne Moss, no Johansson. Also, Ricky Gervais was attached at one point to be like a side character.
Was he supposed to be the Simon Pegg?
There was rumors that yes, but also I think they debunked that and he was going to be a different character altogether. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a tech person and just a different spin on it. Whatever. Two other fun casting bits that occurred around this time during pre-production that were ultimately didn't work out. Billy Bob Thornton was offered the role of Owen Davian. He did not take it because he didn't want to be typecast as a villain. You see it now that it's bad because Philip Seymour Hoffman is so effective.
Yes.
But they approached and just was like, Billy Bob, it's yours if you want it.
Yeah.
And then also Martin Landau was offered the opportunity to reprise his role as Roland Hand from the original TV show, which would have officially linked the movie series with the television show. But he was like, nah, fam.
Yeah.
So script approved, previous obligations completed, and the cast set. It's time to start filming. Principal photography kicked off June 12th, 2005, 3 years after they originally wanted to get started. Yeah. In Rome, Italy, production would visit China, Germany, Vatican City, and multiple states in the U.S. One of the fun things I like, so like filming pretty much went out without a hitch. There was no like crazy stories and nasty things. Because this movie had so much of a leadway, they weren't like the other two where they were reverse engineering like action scenes to the script and like what up. It really was story first. And I think when you're watching it, you could tell that because there's actual like emotional investment and real stakes. And like, it's a very, very different movie. And I think it's because they actually wrote it first.
It goes at a breakneck pace, but it's also tight as hell.
Yeah, it's a drum.
It's impressive, yeah.
So one of the cool things that did happen was the marketing team for this movie decided a really, really fun way to market this movie in a kind of a guerrilla style way was they placed in 4,000 Los Angeles Times newspaper vendors, like the vendor boxes, little boxes that when you open it, do the Mission Impossible theme. Dun, 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 dun. So like people would go in to get their newspaper and it would make it a sound and be like, oh, my mission. It scared
my mission.
so many. It scared so many people.
Yeah.
They thought it was a bomb, an actual bomb. Like
That's
they were
my first immediate thought.
Yeah.
there were genuine like bomb threats and they shut down like buildings and stuff.
Bomb.
Yeah. well, like people would just see, like they didn't hide it very well. So people would like go to get a newspaper, see there's this mysterious black box that's like attached to the door of the vendor. And they were like,
Unabomber.
911.
Literally just a Unabomber.
Yeah.
This is also only 5 years after 9/11.
Basically.
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
So, good intentions.
Yeah. That's a cute idea.
Really quick before we move on to
I would just immediately think someone was trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So there was
right? But then also too, if I didn't see it and wasn't scared, it would be kind of funny if you just like opened up the thing and was just like it started singing the SOS to you. The last thing I want to talk about before I move it on to Alice is the Mission Impossible theme in this movie. It was Michael Giacchino, one of his first films also, because he was mostly a television composer at the time. He was given duties to do the score. This is the first Mission Impossible movie without a soundtrack with pop songs and stuff. And they also...
not a single limp biscuit.
No biscuits were limped. No corns were husked. Nothing. Not an audio slave in sight. Yeah.
No cranberries.
No cranberries. No cranberries were picked. Or that's actually they're sifted, right? They
yeah.
No cranberries were sifted.
Keep workshopping that.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We're working on it.
They also wisely didn't do anything contemporary. So like the first movie had like the other two people from U2 do like an EDM version of the theme. Yeah. And then Limp Bizkit did a version of the theme. They were like, fuck off. We're just going to do like a full orchestra, heavy percussion and just blast it. And I was like, it literally makes the movie 10 times more evergreen and timeless than the other two. Even though the first one didn't lean into it as hard, still, like you look at the sound, like you're watching the movie and like the Cranberries play when they're having a beer, you're like, oh,
Okay.
1994. Cool.
Mhm.
Cool. But yeah, that's any questions about the production. I think it was basically much smoother than the last one. So like,
Yeah, sounds it.
yeah. But yeah, everything kind of fell into place because the other two made a lot of money and Paramount was patient and willing to just like, let's make it right.
Mhm.
I would love to know how they got to Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie. Because, you know, before I had seen Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie, I would have been like, oh, sure. Why
Billy
not
Bob
hire,
Thornton.
what's his name?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton. Why not have Billy Bob Thornton? Of course, he's a perfect person to have be a
Mhm.
villain. I would never in a million years have been like, you know who would be a good villain? Philly Seymour Hoffy.
Billy.
I bet they did. Like, this is one of the, so like when you hear about stories of them approaching actors to like just offer them stuff,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's because of typecast shit and you've seen them there before.
Yeah.
With somebody like Philip Seymour Hoffman, very well known, tons of comedy, tons of like Broadway and plays and stuff. I bet you it was a manager and or an agent that was like, check this out, check this
Yeah,
out, check
yeah.
this out, and pushed it from underneath as opposed to let's assume. Because he was, I think before this too, he was in two Paul Thomas Anderson movies. Oh shit, this is before
Happiness?
This
Was Happiness before this?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I could look it up while she's talking, but
Mhm.
yeah. You could look it up
I can
too.
look it up.
Oh my god.
We
So-
all have computers in front of us.
So much like a lot of things, this was a pretty smooth production. I mean, those that worked on it probably wouldn't think it was very
Yeah.
smooth because making a movie is not easy.
Mhm.
Happiness was 98.
Yeah, so it was well before this.
Yeah.
So like he was around and he was like a well-known character actor, but no, I don't think people knew that he could turn it on like this.
It was
Yeah, man.
this
he was
harsh.
so good.
Yeah.
He is what I think of. Whenever I think of Mission Impossible 3, I immediately and only think of Philip Seymour Hoffman and the beginning of this movie, the scene, the cold open, which I won't get into.
Yeah.
But like, it's my favorite scene of all of the Mission Impossibles.
It's so good.
that you've seen.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
So Alice, before we get into how we felt overall about the movie and our ratings and stuff, how did the world think about this movie when it was
Well,
released back in 2006?
I'll tell you. So we're going to talk about the box office, but just for reference, the budget for this movie was somewhere between 150 and 186 mil. And it opened in 4,054 theaters in the US, which was
That's a lot.
the fourth largest opening ever up until that point. And the movie topped the box office opening weekend, which was May 5th, 2006. And in the US, it made 16.6 mil on opening day and 47.7 million opening weekend, which is 10 million lower than Mission Impossible 2.
It wasn't
Which-
as popular, right?
Which tracks because, Mission Impossible 2 didn't do as well as the original. So,
Wait,
Simon.
no, Mission Impossible 2 did better.
Oh, sorry. I mean, reviews. I'm talking about like reviews
Mm.
for it weren't as good, that people didn't like it as much. But yeah, Mission Impossible 2 did do better than Mission Impossible 1.
Do you think that even though there was like 6 years in time, the stink of 2
That's my guess. That is
Kind
the
of
only reason I can assume it didn't do
still
as well.
smells on this one?
Yeah.
Because there was enough time for people to realize that Mission Impossible 2 really wasn't very good.
Yeah. So it earned 25 million in the second weekend it was out, while staying at number 1 in the box office and remained in the top 10 in the box office for the first 6 weeks that it was out. The domestic run ended on July 20th, 2006, making a total of 134 million in the US. Yeah.
Bummer.
I know. While it was the second movie to pass the 10 million mark that year, what do you think the other one was? You're not going to guess. It's an animated movie.
Five Goes West.
Ice Age: The Meltdown.
That's what I said.
It was like 30 years before.
I know. Bambi.
So
Black Cauldron.
while it was the second movie to pass the 10 million mark opening week, 10 million mark, the film's domestic gross was still much lower than Mission Impossible 2 and remains the lowest of the series as of 2022.
That's insane.
Right?
What a bummer.
I thought so too. And outside of the US, it grossed 70 million in the first 5 days. International box office grossed 20. Oh my God, I can't read numbers. My screen is freaking out. 264.4 million for a total of 398.5 million worldwide in the box office, making it the lowest in the franchise as of 2022.
But
Yeah,
the budget of 150 million is the most expensive movie undertaken by a first-time director.
Hell yeah.
First-time film director.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me for JJ Abrams. for some reason.
So math wise, global box office, America and was I have it here as 546.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I'm
There
sorry.
you-
Sorry, 546 was MI2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I
So,
have
total-
398.5
I'm
mil.
updating it by the numbers. 398.
0.5. Yeah. Million worldwide. So far the lowest. In franchise.
I'm making sure I'm keeping because I figured we have to keep stats of
Yeah,
this shit as we
keep
keep
stats,
going.
man.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It is the lowest
I haven't
grossing.
even read the critic.
No, what's funny is that's still a lot of money, and
Yeah.
that's still
They still did well.
profit hand over
Yeah.
fist. But
So,
for a
like-
Mission Impossible movie,
Yeah, comparatively, it's not as good. So, but critics, we talked about earlier, Rotten Tomatoes 71%, which is the highest critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes so far of the franchise. That is of 224 reviews, averaging a rating of 6.6 out of 10. Critic consensus saying it is a fast pace with eye-popping stunts and special effects. The latest MI installment delivers everything an action fan could ask for, a thrilling summer popcorn flick.
True.
Metacritic gives it a 66 out of 100 with 42 critics. I know, right?
it seems like it should be so much higher.
Rotten Tomato score for the audience was 69%, I mentioned earlier.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
His is sex. I get it. Slopping. Dry,
Everybody-
heaving. Popping. Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Oh, man. Audiences polled on CinemaScore gave it an A-, which is better than the previous two that it gave. So the original Mission
Yeah.
Impossible on CinemaScore got a B+, and Mission Impossible 2 got a B, which I think is far too high.
Yeah. C-.
Yeah. So critic reviews on the TV show, Ebert and Roper.
Ooh, Roper.
Richard Roper gave the movie a thumbs up, while Roger Ebert gave it a thumbs down.
What the fuck, Roger?
Marginal thumbs down. He scored it a 2.5 out of 4 stars. He stated, "Either you want to see mindless action and computer-generated sequences executed with breakneck speed and technical precision, or you do not."
I do.
And I am getting to the point where I don't much care. So it just wasn't
because,
for him.
I mean, his review of part 2 was balletic action. And
Yeah.
he thumbed it up hard.
I was
But
shocked by that.
I really do think that's time, right?
Yeah.
The difference between 2000 and 2006 and all the shit in between.
Yeah.
Maybe he was tired of it.
Sure, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Because this is exponentially a better movie.
It's so
Yeah,
much
for
better.
Sure.
Manola Dargis of the New York Times said that Hoffman enlivens Mission Impossible 3, but criticized the film's maudlin romance and Abrams' inability to adapt his small screen talent to a larger
Oh,
canvas.
nonsense.
I know.
Nonsense.
Sorry, this next one's going to make you guys-
Balderdash and
I
Knuckle
know.
Pussy.
I end with a fun one.
No. Hold on.
Wait, what did you say? I missed it.
I said Balderdash and Knuckle Pussy.
Is that the actual saying? You just came
Yes.
up with knuckle pussy. Yeah, no.
You never heard that? Your grandmother, you never used to say Balderdash and Knuckle Pussy?
My grandma used to walk around saying a lot of things, but not knuckle pussy.
I just let that slide. I
Yeah, you
wasn't
did.
even clock
Hey,
it.
you're dialed in.
So
You're just saying all sorts of nonsense that I'm not noticing.
you're learning.
Oh.
Shut up.
Good.
Okay. Rob Nelson of the Dallas Observer said that Abrams' movie is too oppressive, too enamored in its brutality to deliver anything like real thrills. Its deeply unpleasant tone nearly makes you long for Woo's cartoon absurdities.
No, it doesn't.
I actually, you know what? These are all. I bet you if these people watched it now in
Yeah.
relation to a bunch of other, the last couple of years, this is an incredibly. Do you have much more?
I
Should
have
we
one more review that I want
go
to read
into it
because
and
it's
then
my
we'll talk
favorite.
about our actual
I have a couple of
feelings. Yeah. Oh, cool.
This is my favorite review of the ones that I read through. Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle said, "It's all poppycock, of course, but
And
it's
knuckle
done
pussy."
with such vim and vigor
I thought it was
and both
balderdash.
narrative and visual flair that you care not a jot."
Yeah, wait, whoa.
Wait,
It's literally a quote.
was this
That's
written?
amazing.
Hang on, this was written in
And a quill pen.
1842,
I know.
placed into a time capsule,
That's why it's my
and brought
favorite.
forth 200 years later.
Yeah.
This man
by
time
the-
traveled for this
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
he
you know
cared not a jot.
Did you find it
what?
in
Worth
a,
it, cat.
in a bottle in the ocean?
There's a bunch of arguments going on in the chat about is your favorite, we will address them when we talk about our
Yep,
favorites.
okay, that ends my segment.
So, as the production could do nothing about inquisitive crowds watching them while they were filming in Rome, they actually set up a phony second unit a little further away, hired several goyles in bikinis and several older women
Goyles?
dressed as nuns, and pretended to be filming takes for the film while the main unit got on with the business largely undisturbed.
I want to see the Bikini and Nuns movie.
Right?
I want to know how much extra money they spent filming
to-
a fake
Yeah.
second unit shit.
So funny.
I'm intrigued by the
After the
Bikini
success of
Nuns. I want to know
Your
what that-
mission, should you choose to accept it?
Yeah, no, blah, 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 blah. After the success of Shaun
How
of the
dare
Dead,
you.
Simon Pegg was asked whether he was going to be pursuing a career in Hollywood, to which he laughed and replied, "It's not like I'm going to be in Mission Impossible 3. Which is cute.
Aw.
Tom Cruise allegedly threatened to cancel publicity for the film
Oh,
if Comedy Central rebroadcasted the Trapped in the Closet, aka
that here.
Scientology
Read
episode
about this.
that satirizes Scientology and mocks Cruise's sexuality of South Park.
when asked in ABC's primetime about his involvement with stopping the episode rebroadcast on Comedy Central, Cruise stated, "First of all, could you ever imagine sitting down with anyone? I would never sit down with someone and question them on their beliefs. Here's the thing. I'm really not even going to dignify this. I honestly didn't really even know about it. I'm working, making my movie. I've got my family. I'm busy. I don't spend my days going, what are people saying about me? Which is an edict of the Scientology faith. They don't go online. They don't like look themselves up. It's you're supposed to stay in your little bubble so you believe all your little bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
You trying to tell me that the IMDb trivia section lied to me?
well, he could be lying.
Oh, that's right. He's a liar.
I
No, I would trust IMDb trivia versus.
Yeah. Well,
Tom
the
Cruise.
editorial process of
Put the
IMDb trivia,
coconut
not
cake.
even IMDb Pro, IMDb trivia,
Yeah.
is probably better than directly from his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a filthy liar.
Filthy, filthy liar. Anything else?
Special effects technician Stephen Scott Wheatley sued Paramount Pictures and Tom Cruise's production company for gross negligence after the pyrotechnics in a stunt in which he was involved went wrong, and he was engulfed in a ball of flame. He suffered third-degree burns over 60% of his body.
That's painful.
Tom Cruise took a pay cut of his usual $20 million fee in order to get the film financed. Maggie Q had to learn how to drive for the movie. She didn't know how to before. It is revealed in the DVD extras that while driving during the shoot, the heel of her shoe got stuck on the accelerator, leading her to crash slightly into another parked car.
She had 4 lines in this movie,
Yeah.
and one of them was the worst scene in the movie.
Oh, wait. Oh.
Well, it was basically like the only conversation she has with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers' character, and it's like this really ham-fisted thing about she's praying and teach me how to pray.
Oh my.
It was the most ham-fisted.
That's right, yeah.
You immediately just blinded out of your head. Like, hey, maybe these side characters that have been in the background of every single other scene should talk. Yeah, it was weird.
And Thandiwe Newton was offered the chance to reprise the role of Naya Nordhoff Hall, but turned it down to concentrate on spending time with her fams.
It's a good call for her.
Yeah. So that's just a couple little whatnots.
Would they have just inserted her into Michelle Monaghan's role?
Probably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Because that was his OTP.
Oh, and the Scarlett Johansson role that she wasn't able to do, that was actually Kerry Russell's role.
Oh, dope.
That wound up being Kerry
Oh.
Russell.
Dope.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
what else we got?
I think
We
we're
got to
gonna
talk about
we're gonna talk
our
about
feelings.
Yeah.
Getting
Okay.
our feels about this.
Let's divert to
You cuck.
the newbie.
Uh-huh.
Because we had seen it before. So what we'll do is
That's you.
we will talk
turn
about
again.
our first time and then
Mhm.
this recent time. But for you, it's all first time.
Alice.
How did you feel about Mission Impossible 3 or Mission I or M:I:3? Numeral.
What'd you think about colon?
Yeah.
Colon.
Colons.
Mission colon.
Yeah. See a lot of those.
Oh my God. Do
Are they
you?
popping or slopping?
Yeah. Nah, it depends. Yeah, you just grossed yourself out. I didn't even do that. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to admit, I watched it on Sunday. And I did have to watch it in chunks because this is my own fault. I was violently hungover and there's a lot of jostling happening. And I was like, I'm going to throw
Kosa
up.
won't just let you sit calmly and watch a movie.
Yeah,
He's like,
He's jumping on the couch next to me.
He's super excited about you. Yeah.
he's your cheap version of 4DX.
Yeah.
I loved it. We had watched the opening after we had watched Mission Impossible 2, you and Sam, and it immediately sucked me in just with Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance in that scene alone. It was fantastic. He stole the show this entire time. It was so good.
Yeah, that was on
So
me.
good.
As soon as the movie was over, I was like, hey, let's just watch the first 2 minutes of this one. And
Such my favorite cold open to any of
It's so good.
They don't even need there shouldn't be a preview. They should have just shown that scene for the marketing of this movie, period. And then coming soon.
I was talking to Sushan about it because Philip Seymour Hoffman is good in that, right? But he's also very stoic. I feel like all of the heavy lifting of that scene is actually on Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is doing some of the best acting of his career.
He is, honestly, you're
strapped
right.
to a chair trying to convince someone to not kill his wife. I can't think of another scene in a Tom Cruise movie where I'm just like, man, he is acting the shit out of this.
It's the quiet levels of Philip Seymour Hoffman too, because for 75% of that conversation, he is stoic.
Yep.
And it gives weight to when he finally yells.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think I'll do it. And it's just like,
and
you're going to kill her.
The desperation in Tom Cruise as he keeps counting to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
and he's slowly losing it because he's like, it's going to be fine.
It'll be fine, yeah.
And then he's like, he gets to like 5. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, literally all the stages of grief.
And
like
by
he
9,
starts
he's like,
bargaining and then he starts begging.
Don't
and
do
then,
it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And then.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he just,
He's like,
they share this eye lock with each other and he just knows he's going to do it. And he just, oh, it's so good.
Then blam, and then credits roll.
Yep, so good.
That is the best
Insane.
cold open.
Insane.
So you liked it.
Loved it. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to pull out? Or, well, you know what? We'll go to you first and then we'll take apart the movie.
So I had seen it probably in the theaters when it came out in, what was the year? 2006?
Ought 6.
And I don't think I don't know. I'm not sure I knew who Michelle Monaghan was at the time. Now I'm just delighted whenever I see her. I feel like I wish she got more work. And I was surprised. I was like, Philip Seymour Hoffman? Really? This guy? Actually, I'm not even sure I knew his name at the time. I was probably just like, this guy?
This
they
fucking
got
guy from Happiness?
This fucking guy?
Guy.
So, I remember enjoying it well enough. But watching it this past week, it is just a slobber knocker of a slobber knocker that knuckle pussies its way through every action sequence.
Knuckle pussies its way into your slopper. No dry eye or orifice in the house. Yeah.
It's just I was really taken with how fast paced this movie is. It just jumps from scene to scene to scene of just action. And also you get the heartbreak of the cold open. And then you get the heartbreak of the Kerry Russell scene. God damn it.
That is such a good reveal. So my wife had not seen this movie yet because she doesn't give a shit about Tom Cruise. And that's fine. No one should give a shit about Tom Cruise.
I typically don't.
It just is. It happens to be that he makes really good popcorny movies.
Yeah.
So she's half watching it with me, like the cold open, but just blah, blah, blah. We get to that scene and she starts paying. I notice her paying more attention during that whole sequence. And then when the line happens, Ethan, thank you.
Yeah.
And it just happens.
Yeah. I can still see that face too.
I think Sam was visibly kind of like gross. Like, it was like annoyed, but the right kind of annoyed you should be in those moments, you know, like not surprised, but just like, fucking man, I knew she was going to die, but not like that.
Yeah,
like,
it's not a sexy death.
It gets you. It really, really gets you. Yeah.
And there's a morgue scene.
Oh, and how
you do this for the morgue?
Red flags or green flags for the morgue scene?
Red as hell.
Yeah. So they show them taking the chip out of her brain without her scalp being peeled at all. They just kind of like.
Well, that's the difference between a PG-13 and an R. Having to flap it over.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of TV shows I watch, they just flap it over. They get immediate green flag for.
That's because they don't have to deal with the MMPA.
Yeah.
MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
AARP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all old.
Yeah. So this movie is probably my favorite of the Mission Impossibles that I've seen so far.
Me too.
It's really,
Out of the
really
three.
good. It's really solid. It's really stressful. Like even just the scene where they're trying to get information out of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character on the plane.
That's when I
You
had
just-
to turn it off when my hangover stayed because I
Yeah.
was like, "Whoa," as he's
Lot of
like hanging
shaky
out of the
cam.
plane. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot of the shaky cam as he's hanging out of the plane. I'm like,
Yeah.
That is so. That scene is also like so actors, if they're lucky, they have time to like rehearse scenes before they do them.
Yeah.
They had to have rehearsed that because his just bold indignance while being captured and so confident. I was just like, what's your name?
oh,
What's
that.
your name?
What's your
Yeah.
name?
Who are
And
you?
then the end.
Yeah,
oh,
so-
Do you have a
Ethan,
girlfriend or a
Ethan.
wife?
Yeah.
Ethan. Yeah, when he's like
Ethan.
Ethan Hunt.
It's not
Like,
even. It's not even the threatening. It's the just skip your shit
Yeah.
because I know that I'm gonna be on
Mm.
top of this. So
Yeah.
just
Mm.
tell me what your fucking name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like ugh,
And
just
and
so
after that
slimy
whole-
and wonderful.
Yeah, and after that whole big breakdown that Tom Cruise or that Ethan Hunt has, to just let him know, despite your best efforts, I have gotten the information I wanted out of you
Yeah.
by just sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, also too, it's funny as hell. This movie is funny as hell. There's a good handful of like really, really well-timed emotional guffaws.
Uh-huh.
Like when Luther's in his comms and he's going to save Carrie Russell and they're talking about like, you shouldn't get married, you shouldn't do this. And
Oh,
he's
right.
like, yeah, dude, we did it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's just a
Yeah.
lot of like, and then all of Simon Pegg's scenes. Like
Mhm.
there's
Oh my God, Simon
there
Pegg was
is-
fun in this.
a utility to this movie where it just really does like push all the buttons.
Mhm.
And maybe that is TV. Maybe that is like modern television where it's
Yeah.
just very fast, very emotionally manipulative and like all the right spots. And so it works.
Yep.
I was excited about this movie when it came out. I liked the second one a lot at the time. I still kind of do, I guess. It's
It's
bad.
fun.
It's
It's
just
fun.
fun. Yeah.
I will say that this does not, except for maybe the one, Show Me How to Pray. There's not a single cringe in this movie.
No, it's very well written. It's
Whereas
very
the-
tight.
Toys.
Not knuckle pussy tight, more
Yeah,
like snare drum tight.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm using that correctly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
go with it.
I
That's
have
right.
no idea.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get flagged for just saying that a lot? Is that a bad word?
No.
Knuckle pussy?
No. It means nonsense.
None of you
Balderdash.
say it really quick.
Knuckle pussy.
Like a pussy.
Big one in it.
Big one in it. Big one in it. Go watch.
I'm having a raise.
What was that?
Fruity pebble.
Go watch Dick Tracy
Dick
and
Tracy.
then come back for that reference. Big one in it.
Anyway, so I was watching. I was
my God.
obsessed with Alias. I was watching
Oh,
Alias
'cause it was
in real
awesome.
time. So when I found out that the creator of Alias is going to do the new Mission Impossible movie, I was
Yeah.
like, that seems stupid obvious. Let's do it. So seeing the trailers, and then I worked at a movie theater at the time too, so I got to see it early at a critic screening. You know, like you go there at 10 in the morning with a bunch of critics
Mhm.
and you just sit in the back and watch it. Everyone was just dialed. There was only like 10 people in the audience, and we were all dialed in, especially after that cold open.
Mm.
I was like, this is fucking awesome. And the movie did not, it just kept delivering for me. So I've loved this movie from jump. This is the kind of movie that to me, it's almost perfect popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Other things get a blank check because of how good this is, right? Like other movies written by these dudes, other movies that like you get my buy-in right off the bat to try it because that was so effective. That was so fun. Yeah. And also too, like, I loved the first 20 minutes because that's the first time you got to see Ethan Hunt as a human,
As a normal dude.
just as a normal dude, being very dopey and cute. You know,
Mhm.
like reading her lips and answering questions and like, am I doing all right with your family? Am I doing all right?
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
that.
and Aaron Paul's in it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah,
I
little
wanted to be
brother.
like, I'm staying
Yeah.
at your house, bitch.
Mhm.
Also super skinny. Like
Yeah.
he looked like a teenager.
Mhm.
Yeah, I this movie has always been, I think it's always been pretty special. It's a cool movie.
So remember earlier how I said that whenever I think of Mission Impossible movies, I generally think of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I think of this cold open with Michelle Monaghan and her execution.
Oh, you mean Carrie Russell? Oh,
No,
oh,
Michelle
oh, yeah.
Monaghan.
Oh, yeah.
I have since watching this in 2006, have forgotten that she lives.
Yeah.
In my head this whole time, she dies in the beginning of the movie, and then we get to find out how we get to that point. Watching it this week, I was like, oh, she's alive. Of course she is. Wow, I was pretty dumb for thinking she was dead. But I was also a little disappointed because my feeling...
Because you hate her.
because I hate her so much. My feeling for the past 2 decades, however long it's been, is what a ballsy move. What a cool move for Mission Impossible to like have a love interest for Ethan Hunt and then just, I guess, fridge her. But it was also kind of baller. So watching it this time, I was a little surprised, a little disappointed maybe that she lived. I'm coming to terms with it now.
Mm-hmm.
The end of it is so kind of cute.
You're
and
accepting that she lives, and like how somebody accepts the death. You're
it really works for
I'm
me.
coming to terms with.
It really worked for me because she caught a bullet with her skull.
Yeah.
And now that I found out she didn't, I have mixed feelings.
I've been going through all the stages of grief, having to grief the fact that she's alive.
It's a perfect MacGuffin for or a misdirect for the movie. Like you start the movie with this, and not unlike the movie we talked about before with Companion. She literally says in the first line of dialogue, "The day I met him and the day I killed him," and you kind of forget about that until it comes to the point where maybe he has to die.
Yeah,
it's just like with this. You have that brief like scene that's so fucking harrowing.
Yeah.
And then an hour and a half of movie until we finally get to that point, and you're like, fuck, that's right.
Yeah.
And when they do reveal that it was actually his interpreter who fucked up, I was like,
how did you guys, that's where I was getting. How did you feel about that reveal? Did you feel like it was a little bit disappointing, or were you like, relief. Oh, that's awesome?
No, I felt the relief. I was trying to figure out, it's just like, because in the opening scene, the cold open, you hear the gunshot, but you don't see. Well, no, you see that one. But then when he counts to 10, he shoots. And then it cuts
immediately to Tom Cruise's reaction, and then the
yeah, you don't see.
So I was trying to think of ways that she could be alive. I'm like, maybe somebody comes in the back door and shoots Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that's the gunshot that we hear, and that's why he reacts.
Tons of time, yeah.
And so I was like trying to figure it out, and then we get to the scene, and I'm like, okay, now we're gonna figure it out. Like I was like, there's no way she actually died, and then she straight up shoots her in the skull, and then she's limp there, and then pulls her head back, her eyes are still, I'm like, oh my God, she's very dead. I was like, oh my God, they did it. And then they pull off the mask and it's not her. I'm like,
I forgot about that. Yeah, you seeing it. So our experience is, I remember it, you forgot it. She got duped twice in a row.
I got duped twice. So I'm an idiot. Everyone
fun.
From Noel thinks I'm stupid.
Like the movie dupes you twice in a row. Because they don't show you actually her getting shot in the very beginning, you're like, maybe there's a way out.
Yeah.
And you're waiting the whole movie to find out if there's a way out. Then they show her fucking limp and dead. And you're like, oh God, it wasn't. No, there's a way out. Like, like that's kind of cool. I forgot about that feeling.
And then they fake you out with which guy in IMF is the inside guy. That one was a cool misdirect too. Whether it was Lawrence Fishburne or
Billy Crudup.
That's
Billy Crudup.
Billy Crudup.
Yeah.
It was funny when we started watching the movie, Sam was like, he's a bad guy. And I was like, maybe he is. But then halfway through the movie, she's like, oh, so it's Lawrence Fishburne? And she knew it. And that's why, okay.
Yeah.
So by the time they did the full reveal, she was like, I knew it. Like the movie doesn't try and hide things. Yeah. It just keeps like misdirecting, which is fun. Like it's not smart.
I also love the shot of the reveal when you find out that it is Billy Crudup.
Because he walks in.
Tom Cruise is just clocking Michelle Monaghan, the corpse, because he's parsing it together. He's trying
to too, like so he's getting these headaches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Billy Crudup sits in the foreground, but because he's looking past him, it's all just blurry. And then it slowly zooms in on Billy Crudup, like, oh shit. Yeah. What a great reveal. But yeah, I'm glad she's alive, but I was also a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I also too forgot about that whole third act sequence. I forgot how Wile E. Coyote it is. He has to run a mile through off the rooftops of I don't know, China, Shanghai,
yeah.
And that bitch is running.
Yeah.
But then also
just one shot of him just running for super long.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
that's him running.
I feel like that was a running joke back in the day.
Yeah. Also too, that first shot of him going onto the roof, there's no cutaways. He literally like parkours down 3 roofs, and I'm like, fucking A.
Yeah.
Dude, no. But also too, like, I love, and J.J. Abrams does this a lot in all of his movies where he'll set up, it's very much an old school like Star Wars trope where it's, you have 4 main things that all have to hit at the same time in order to like beat the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he sets up this scenario of like, she's a mile away, you have a bomb in your brain, she doesn't know how to use a gun, you're looking for a defibrillator, the bad guy's on his way in, work.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun to the point where by the time he ends up basically electrocuting himself and breaking like the twig
That was
in his
awesome.
mouth.
The fact that the stick snaps in his teeth.
I'm
Love
like,
it.
this is fucking ridiculous,
Yeah.
and I love it.
So dumb.
I absolutely love and like he's holding his head while trying to fight, so it's just all
It's like
elbows.
elbows.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh,
awesome.
I love that.
Just
Yeah, I love-
absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Also, speaking of funny, you were talking about comedic bits earlier, when he wakes up and sees what happened to Billy Crudup, and he's like,
You did
"Did
that?
you do that?"
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like really impressed with Michelle
There
Monaghan.
was something wonderful about that scene too, where he's looking for a defibrillator and he's just like, "This is a Beretta, blah 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 blah." He's like teaching her how to like use a gun.
God damn it! It's so good.
This is a fun ass movie.
Yeah, man.
And she just keeps asking questions. She's like, how do you know about a gun? And I'm like, how do you know how to use a gun? Because she thinks he works for the Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
Like looking at traffic patterns. She's
Traffic
like, what is
patterns,
happening?
Yeah.
That even earlier, he's at the party pretending to be a normal guy who works on traffic patterns, and he's telling people about his job.
And they're like boring.
And like the guy's like, oh, whatever. But then the 2 women are like, I would. I would. Yeah.
And also too, like the movie doesn't forget how ridiculous it is too, because like the last line of dialogue between them is he's telling her all this stuff, and he's like, "It's called the Impossible Mission 4." She's like, "What? No, it's not. That's so stupid." I'm like, this is a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
They don't make movies like this anymore.
I also have a visual from this movie that has stuck with me for a very long time. And it's him, the whole scene on the bridge where they've taken all this time and they've captured Phillips. What's it? Davian?
Owen Davian.
Owen Davian.
Yeah, Owen Davian. They've captured him and he's being really rescued from by jerks. And
like jerks.
He
Those rescue jerks.
He's the what is that thing? It's a
drone.
The drone's coming and it's shooting at the truck that he's kind of trapped in. And he gets out, he runs. And for some reason, this tiny little bit of choreography always stuck with me. The fact that the truck is directly behind him. Tom Cruise is running towards camera and behind him it explodes, but it knocks him sideways.
Yeah.
It doesn't knock him forward like I would anticipate. It knocks him sideways into a car and he breaks the window of the car to his left.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running like because he's
a nice
like
little touch.
He's zagging. So that is actually a really good sequence too. Because, like again, I think it's because they actually had time to write this movie. Like everything is actually set up. Like we are over on this side of the explosion. That's a giant gap and a fire. The gun is on that side, but I have to get back over there in order to stop that from doing that. So he has to throw the gun, jump over,
he
do
throws
this
it first.
Yeah. There's just so much like wonderful and it's not super shaky cam
No,
or
it's not.
quick edits. You like they establish this is his goal. This is what's going on. This is where we're
This
going.
is where
Like,
everybody
Do you
is.
want to say something about like the throwing the gun and then running and jumping? You can tell that Tom Cruise is genuinely putting everything he has in just by his face. Because he's making a goofy face, but he's doing a face that you make when you're running at your full speed. And it's just like, it's so clear he's doing all of his own stunts.
it
And
sucks that he's in a cult because he's such a good actor.
oh my God.
Also, Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, sucks that she's in a
She's
cult.
so great.
Oh,
She's such a
good
that's right. I
actress.
thought you meant
She's like-
Tom Cruise was in Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah,
and I'm
no.
like, since when?
Well, I mean, how long has Scientology been around? Oh,
Hey,
they
what
hate
is her
women.
name?
Elizabeth
Moss,
Moss.
not Banks.
Elizabeth
She's
with
so
an S.
good.
I haven't watched Handmaid's Tale.
Don't. You're fine. It pissed me off for 90%
I've
of it.
I've read the book.
It pissed me
That
off
was awesome.
because it's so good.
Mm.
Like things are transpiring in the show, and I'm like, this is on the fucking news. I don't need to watch this. This is not fun. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then it just continues to be, and then it jumps the shark hard.
No, it didn't. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Is it
Well,
a
there's-
shark of Rome?
It's the shark of Rome. Yeah. No, it's just
She wakes up in a coliseum full of sharks.
the show. I think it just overstays. I got invested, and then like, oh, there's 7 more seasons, and we're like, it's
Every season's a banger. Love it.
I need to end.
I love the two very conflicting.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
at
like
the
it's
same
super
time.
good, but then it's like
The angel and devil on my
it's
shoulder.
one of those things
like-
where I genuinely like things that end, that come to a conclusion without like stretching it out too
Mhm.
much. And I like, we're on season 8 of
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale, and it's like she's in, then she's out, then she made it, then she didn't, then she's looking for like just
Oh, speaking of in and out, what would have pissed me off in this movie is if they pretended to kill her, didn't kill her, and then ended up killing her. I would have been mad.
I cannot
I would
wait
have
for you
been
guys to
very
watch more Mission Impossible movies.
I can't wait to watch more Mission Impossible movies myself.
Yeah, so
Oh God, is that going to happen? 'Cause
we're
I'm
gonna
be
jump
mad
back
about
into
it.
the chat if you could scroll up a little bit, Dylan. So I think Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight had mentioned that this is his second favorite Mission Impossible movie. His first being Ghost Protocol, which is part 4.
Okay.
And Kevin wholly agrees, and I am not going to say whether I agree or not. Hint: I don't.
Dick Tracy, that'll get you flagged.
Yeah. And Pink was in a crazy winter storm. I am glad you're home safe. I'm
I'm
sorry
glad
that
you're
you
home safe,
missed the first half of the show. We talked about Companion, which was great. You should see it.
See Companion, Pink.
Random comment from Pink. I had pretty much given up on stopped watching Marvel, but the F4 trailer looked pretty good. Pulled me back in.
That is a fun trailer.
I agree. We'll get to the rest of these after our ratings, I think, because this is all just like, this is all bits and bobs. We could do that after we rate the movie. What do you think?
Man, that bridge
Yeah.
scene, says Kevin.
Okay. So for reference, I went back to the other episodes
Sorry, did
and
you
I
hear that?
have,
Sorry. I burped
Just
into the mic.
belching, Mike.
I was an accident. It was all of these delicious snacks.
The folks at home heard it too. So
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
can we isolate that?
Yeah.
Can we,
Just make it short. That's the whole
the
short.
short?
It's just
Yeah.
my burp. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm a monster. I'm sorry.
So, I went back to the other 2 episodes and I have our ratings for reference.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I have no idea.
I meant to do that earlier today and I forgot.
So, M:I, Alice, you rated it 3.5 stars. Oh, sorry, 3.5 lit fuses.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
JD,
Huh?
3.25 lit fuses. So like
Really?
3 lit fuses and then a match about to light.
The original one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Me 3.5. So
Okay,
we're in
fine.
agreement there. The average rating for Mission Impossible 1, 3.42.
I think going back, I would change it to
Oh, it's
like
too late.
higher up.
This is in print now.
Okay, cool. Sorry. My bad.
M:I-2. MI2, Mission Impossible 2. I don't know if you guys know it.
Sure.
Alice, 2.
Mission Impossible. Woo.
That's
2 lit
generous.
fuses.
Generous of me, honestly.
JD, 2.25 lit fuses. And Noel, 2.84 lit fuses.
Oh, wait, I gave it 2 because I did like the last 40 minutes.
Yeah, like-
that's why it got any fuses at
Yeah,
all.
when they just started.
I do think you said that the fuse on the second one was like flicking in and out.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I did. I think I said I was lighting it with a flint lighter,
So-
like when you light a
Yeah.
Bunsen burner. I was
Yeah.
like, it's really close.
So does
yeah.
that make it like 2.15 or is that 2?
It's still 2, but it's like it's
It's
lucky it's
almost
getting
not
2.
2.
It's
Yeah, I
almost
got it.
not
Okay,
2.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. It just barely caught the flint lighter.
The average rating being 2.36 lit fuses. So with that in mind, M:I:3. Alice, how many lit fuses out of 5 would you rate Mission Impossible 3? Written and directed by J.J. Abrams and. Well, do you want us not to look? Don't look.
No.
Look away.
How many?
Crawl.
Most people have an angel and a devil on their shoulder. I have
Well,
a Noel and a JD.
Crab walk over there. And look.
You gotta like exorcist walk.
Yeah.
Trying to decide between 4 and 4.5.
Oh, that high. All
I
right.
really liked it. Yeah. I mean, I really didn't like the second one. So seeing this one, I was like,
It's like
wow.
straight, like, it was just like,
Wow.
that's why these movies make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 4. 4 lit fuses.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
4 lit fuses.
And they're confidently lit. They're all
Burning bright,
they're
baby.
burning bright.
Those bombs are going off.
Oh, yeah, they're any second now in somebody's
Yeah.
mailbox with the Mission Impossible theme playing.
Just a cacophony of
Yeah.
of all them going off.
Yep.
JD, Jonathan
4.5.
Destructive. Oh God.
4.5. This is my favorite Mission Impossible movie. I've seen, I think, all of them except for the most recent one over the years.
You have?
I believe so.
Oh.
I believe so.
I thought you hadn't seen like 4 through 6
I don't know. Maybe I didn't. So, but that being said,
or 4 through 7 at this point.
This is my favorite. I love this. This one has stuck with me, and revisiting it this time, I was just flabbergasted at how tight and awesome this movie is. 4.5.
I'm gonna split the difference between the two of you because this is emotionally my favorite.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the best
Really?
movie overall.
Are you gonna tell us?
No, when we get to it in like 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
So
it's not the next
Some
one.
of them
it's
are
not 4.
Some of
it's
them are
not
2 a
5,
month.
Maybe it's
my
6.
guys.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I shouldn't try to
So I'm
do
gonna
math.
go 4.25. Dylan, you didn't watch it. What do you think?
Dylan.
Fantastic. One of the best movies I've never watched.
Nice.
I'm down. I believe. You know what? I believe you when you say that. I'm not. I'll do the math really quick. Do you want to go
While
through
you're
the comments?
doing that, MI3 was the first of the films to show the process of how the silicone masks are made.
Yeah, that was dope.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
The
with 3D
interior
printing.
Ethan Hunt's house was based on J.J. Abrams' family home.
Mm-hmm.
The two main actresses, Michelle Monaghan and Kerry Russell, share the birth date of March 23rd, 1976.
This is an
Aw.
average rating between the three of us
They're
of 4.25. So far, this
How many?
is 4.25 average.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
So this is the highest rated thus far.
Also, Rachel McAdams turned down the role that went to Michelle Monaghan.
I believe that.
I love Rachel McAdams so much.
They were
all right,
looking
so
for a type.
in the chitty chat, let's see. Say what you want. He does have a good movie run, in my opinion.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Who's
I
he?
do love
Tom Cruise?
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
I do love Interview with the Vampire. It's one of my favorite movies.
That's a fun one. He hates that movie, doesn't he?
Does he?
I think he does.
Good. I like it
Does he?
more.
I think he does.
Oh.
Joining late tonight, but you all inspired me to binge all the Mission Impossible movies.
Hell yeah.
Take notes, Dane.
The
Take
only
notes.
thing I really liked about the M:I2 is the Hans Zimmer score.
Me too, bud.
Valid.
Go rewatch that score because JD shits, or go rewatch that episode. JD shits all over the score of that film.
Oh yeah, it's dumb.
Shits all over the score.
I hate it.
It's so good.
I wish I was deaf.
we can make that happen.
I don't remember. I don't even remember the
Come here.
score at all.
Up until now, this is the best Mission Impossible movie. This movie is
Yeah,
wonderful.
for sure.
It's peak early 2000s action. This is post Matrix also.
Hold on,
yes,
though.
it
Hold on.
is. Speaking of, Kos has been rewatching all the Matrix movies.
Oh, what a bummer.
I know we talked to you about it last night. You're like, aw.
What about Tom Cruise's hair?
Oh,
I actually
'cause
preferred it in this one. I know it's-
MI2 was gorgeous locks.
it was showy. This is like just bouncy.
Understated.
I preferred
This
the
is
look in this
nice
one.
and bouncy.
Yeah.
This was my peak Cruise,
Pete Cruz?
I think. I know
Like-
we talked about how 2 was peak Cruise. I think this one might be peak Cruise.
2 is peak like cover model Cruise because he's much more tan. He's like flowy. This is like peak cool dad Cruise.
Mm.
Capable dude.
You're saying I'm into
Cruise.
dads. Okay.
Yeah. I've met your fiance. Yeah.
He's just a dad joke.
He
He is a walking dad
Costa
joke.
is just,
That's true.
Yeah.
I love him.
his DNA is dad joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What's your blood type? Dad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next week?
Next week we are going. Next week we have one of the most anticipated shows we will ever do on this channel
By
and have
me.
ever done on this channel.
By Alice.
So,
I'm the only
in
one
honor of
excited.
both Valentine's Day and more importantly, Alice's birthday, we are going to watch Hard Eyes. Oh, I mean, also we're going to watch Twilight.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to watch all the Twilights, and we're going
Not
to
next
take
week.
a deep
No.
dive into every single one of them over the next 4 or 5 months.
So next week we're going to be doing 2 reviews, one for Heart Eyes
Mm-hmm.
and then one for Twilight, the original Twilight.
and maybe we should come up with some like fun Valentine's Day stuff. We'll bring
Great.
snacks or
you could have
or
brought all these
drinks or-
snacks then. These were so good.
They were
Right?
very good.
They're
Oh my
banger.
God.
And
Mm.
I wanted to say thank you for letting me do this for my birthday because it is going to be my shortest birthday.
What?
It's my
Are you dying?
32nd birthday. Like it's
It's-
dad joke.
It's
I'm
your
turning 30. It's
shortest-
shortest birthday because 30 seconds is very short. I'm turning 32.
I hate
It's my-
everything about today. It was such a good day.
And
That
you
was for
ruined
Costa.
it.
That
Everything
was for
went
Costa.
down.
I love
No.
you.
Nope.
30
Hey,
seconds.
so next week we're
God
actually
damn it.
next week we're actually just gonna sit here in silence.
Yeah, that's what you've earned. Sit in it.
I'm glad that Dylan got it right away. It's just like
I had no
guffawing
idea
over
what was
the back.
happening.
I stole
30
that joke
seconds.
from our friend Homsey, who told it to Costa on his 32nd birthday.
I'm just not used to Alice with all this knuckle pussy.
Wouldn't your 22nd birthday be even shorter than that?
Boom!
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, now it's ruined.
Well,
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
So we'll see you next week. I mean,
I
go
skipped
Birds!
22.
Happy Valentine's Day. We'll play.
Yeah.
Next week.
We'll play.
Thanks for joining us.
And we'll talk
Watch
at you
Mission
later.
Impossible.
Wear your glitter next week.
Oh yeah.
I hate
Will
glitter.
you do my makeup?
I hate glitter so much.
I did
Do
buy
me,
glitter
do me
makeup.
some glitter makeup.
I'll bring some glitter.
Can I sit far enough? Like I fully
not-
support your
It's
glitter.
not loose
But
glitter.
I swear to Christ, it doesn't come out of anywhere, and I can't stand it. I have like sensory
Dylan, I've
issues
got
with like
bacon for you.
with makeup or face paint or ink on my
Okay,
hands,
I
and it's
won't-
like
I won't. It's just like glitter eyeliner
Are we still
that I bought.
going?
you can go to town.
We're still going.
Like,
We're still
If you-
going about glitter.
If you want to roll in glitter, like if you literally want to throw it in the air and run through it, that's cool. I just might not hug
Melinda's
you.
like, no.
I just
Keep
might
it
not
outta
hug you.
here.
Anyway,
Bye.
Bye.
see you guys next week.
Yo, John!